Clarity Nation, what's going on? Hope y'all having a great week so far. Coming at you in the middle of the week, motivation, inspiration, whatever you need, I'm here to deliver it. So it turns out my production issues weren't really a lighting issue, it was a phone issue. Got myself a new phone, and you can actually see me. I actually got some light, and I don't need to screw around with lighting and shadows. It's actually kind of nice. But that is actually a good segue in today's conversation, episode 20 of the Sovereign Health and Wealth podcast. All right, been going 20 weeks. It's pretty good. But, just when do you start? When do I start? Where do I start? How do I start? We get all of these questions, and these questions tend to plague us a fair bit with like everything, right? We tend to look at external factors and make this list of all this external bullshit that we think we need in order to succeed or get started or make momentum down the path that we want to go, right? Maybe starting a business, you're too caught up on your lack of resourcefulness and what you don't have, and you're stifling your creativity to think of how you can go out there and acquire the resources that you need to acquire, or the skills, or the people, right? Sometimes we think we lack the skills in order to get started. Newsflash, we don't need the fucking skills. We just need to know the people who have the skills, right? That's one big thing that working in teams has taught me, right? Human nature, it's easy to want to shoulder burdens ourselves and not want to bother anybody and just grit our teeth and muddle through it and hope we make it on the other side, right? Whereas when we have a team, those knowledge gaps, those skills gaps that we personally have, you can just loop somebody else in. You can ask for help. You can hand off the project or the workload. There's so much that you can do in order to be effective, and there's so much you can do in order to get started, right? You don't need to spend 5, 10, 20 years learning the skill to get started. You can find somebody. Maybe they can mentor you along the way. Maybe you could find a nice quid pro quo out of it, or whatever, right? Like, you never know. But like, I spent a lot of years in that trap myself, right? I spent a lot of years beating myself up and holding it against myself, the damage that I did to my body back when I was a young party animal. Right, the liver and kidney failure, like all that shit. Spent a lot of time beating myself up. My doctor said I could never do anything laborious from all the MDMA, fucking up all the spinal fluid, like all of that stuff. And I spent a lot of years beating myself down, like holding myself down, holding myself back, saying I can't. Like, I racked up too much debt doing that stupid shit. I did this, and I had all of these fucking excuses, right? Oh yeah, can't do anything. Gotta watch out manual labor and be careful what you're doing in the gym and blah, blah, blah. You'll break your back. This thing's a quarter of my body weight. I don't fucking listen. Took me a long time to build up to that point. It took me a long time to give myself permission to even explore that and start working towards it. But once I let go of those excuses, once I stop letting everybody's bullshit into my head, it's, fuck. The odds, science, whatever, this, that, the other thing, might all say this shit, but that's great. Guess what? That's odds. There's always people outside of the stats. There's always anomalies, enigmas, whatever. There's always an outlier. Why can't I be an outlier? Right? And that was back in 2017, 2018 is when I finally decided to get out of my own way and just fucking start. 2021. It's been 3 years. It's been a long time, but it hasn't been a long time. There's been massive change, right? All across the board. Health, lifestyle, finance, relationships, right? Although I am still single, I'm a lot more clear on what I want and what I'm looking for in a relationship. And I stay very far away from the women that give me the warning signs that my exes gave me. Like, all of this shit, right? We let all of this shit get in our way. All of it. We look at all these external factors and we say, I can't do it because of this. I can't get started because I need this. The odds, the stats say this, so I can't because I'm just another statistic. Get the fuck out of your own way. Get the fuck out of your own head. And just start. You'll figure it out along the way. You could spend 20 years thinking about starting, be 20 years older, a lot more gray hair, maybe parts of your body are starting to sag that you don't want to think about. I don't know. I don't know what 20 years from now is going to look like, but I do know it's going to look exactly like it does right now, unless you start. Once we start taking action, that imperfect action. Doors start opening, opportunities start presenting themselves. People take notice and they start offering help. Accept it. Join the team. Build relationships. Be a part of it as long as it's aligned with you. And then guess what? You're going to get where you want to be that much faster. And then when you get that there, your cup's going to be full and you're going to be in a position where you could start paying that forward. Right now you can start paying it forward, but you can't pay it forward unless your cup is full. You can't fill your cup unless you get started, and you're never going to get started unless you drop those excuses. Get out of your way. And everything will come together as you go. It took me 8 years to pull everything together in 3 months. It is what it is, right? We don't see all the training that goes on in the night. We don't see the blood, the sweat, the tears. We don't see any of that. We just see the end results. We don't see the struggle that goes into it. We don't see the excuses. We don't see the overcoming the challenges, right? But we don't have the opportunity to do any of that unless we just get up, get out, and start.